Hello, everyone. Today we begin our third exciting day of Virtual World's Best Practices in Education. This morning, our featured speaker is Jeroen Frans. Jeroen is one of the three founders of the Vesuvius Group, LLC, and functions as Executive Director and Virtual World Technology Specialist. The Vesuvius Group is a full-service solution provider for companies and institutions who desire to develop a presence or experience in a virtual world. Their expertise is largely in the virtual world platforms of Second Life and OpenSim. Jeroen is a creative producer and futurist, always looking forward to how innovative technology can be used and enhanced. This drives him to try his hand in many technologies, and his early adoption has resulted in a wide skill set in programming, 3D, web and game design, machinima, and animation. Friends and colleagues, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Jeroen Frans.
Thank you, Letty. Thank you for the introduction. So that actually sure makes my own introduction a little bit shorter. So hello, I'm Jeroen Frans. You might wonder why my accent is so weird, because I'm from the Netherlands. I'm actually just south of Amsterdam. I've been a Second Life member since January 2005. And since January 2007, we founded the Vesuvius Group. Let me give you a link. It is thevesuviusgroup.com. So since then, we have had many clients. We had like corporate clients like Morpheus Media, iMira, and BelieveNet. Let me link those as well. We have worked with institutions like the San Francisco Exploratorium, the Chicago Field Museum, and the World Bank Institute. And we worked with educational organizations like Ramapo Middle School in New York, the University of Southern California, Global Kids, Kids Connect, and actually also with Virtual Ability, Gentle Heron is right in world here with us in the audience. So I actually founded the Vesuvius Group together with Emilius Lioncourt, who's called Joshua Storch in real life, and Rhiannon Chatnar, who's Joyce Betancourt in real life, and you'll actually be seeing Joyce in the next panel after me at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever the time is. So I'll be talking about today about 3 projects that we have been working on the last couple of years. And all these 3 projects have to do with play or gamification, or at least the parts I'm going to talk about will be about play and or gamification. During this talk, if you have any questions, just type them out, like last question, and then I have a question or question in chat text. And hopefully I will see that then, and we'll try to answer the questions right away. So I hope that also we could have, like, if I don't mind to field questions in the meetings and have more of a conversation going. Sorry for the dead air. So the first project that I'm going to talk about is the project we did for the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. Let me copy paste that name. The American Museum of Natural History has every year a 2-week summer program for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And this project runs for 2 weeks. And what they do in there is they study Cretaceous sea animals. And the Cretaceous area is prehistoric area, which is like 100 145 to 66 million years ago, which is right after the Jurassic period that you might know from the movies. With the kids, they actually like go to the museum themselves and study all the fossils in the museum and the literature, and they go on digs, or I think they go on mock digs, just learn how archaeology works in this case. Uh, Part of the project is also scientific modeling, and have been using several tools for that for the project. One is Sculptress. Let me type it out. Sculptress. And another tool that I wanted to use was a virtual world where the kids could be in there together and uh, create models, which sounds like fun, but they only have like 2 weeks, we and in those 2 weeks they're actually mostly like just learning about the subject matter. So what we end up with time in Second Life is that they are basically have like 3 days in Second Life, and those are only 2 to 3 hours a day. So that is a very short time to learn to build, or to even like short time to learn to how to do like make textures in Photoshop or something. So we for the last 2 years been doing the Second Life part with them. Before that, they were using a different virtual world. Um, so to help the kids to build quicker, like at least make something make something decent, we created. Let me actually move over the slides. So we created a build kit, a Lego-like build kit, where we just have pieces of animal parts. Actually, they're making sea animals, so it's all fish and that are animals that are living underwater. Um, so we make this build kit, and you can see in this like the scale, a slightly smaller scaled down version here on the left. And basically, we had to make like models of these creatures that the kids actually had to study. So right now we actually have 6 different animals inside the build kits, which I will type them out and try to pronounce them. One is the coelacanth, the ichthyosaurus, the Cratonyxirrhina, the goblin shark, the mosasaur, and the frill shark. The part of the project is that kids really do like the studying themselves and then make a model of what they think the creature looks like. So it's not the goal that they make like the correct creature, but they make the creature that they think it should be. So all the parts that we made should be in some part modular to each other, that the head of the coelacanth can fit to the mosasaur body, or at least somewhat. Because it's really hard, because some of these creatures are wide and some are really narrow. Um, so besides these 6 animals that we have in parts, and actually next slide as well, where you can see the build kit more in action. And the next one, actually you see more parts. So besides the 6 animals, we also have 2 additional animals. That's an ammonite and a skate, and those are being used as avatars. And let me change into one. Ammonite, there we go. And as SOB, you can see the ammonite and the skates right in front of you. There's in each sim there's like 2 out, and you can actually click on them and get yourself an own copy of these avatars. Um, these models, these asking questions, do these models help students figure out the functional morphology of these creatures? Um, somewhat, they do most of that their learning is in like outside of Second Life, but what what they will use in the build kit for is they will actually be making like putting like certain fins together and see how they move, and they get options to say how they move, and then they actually are then released in the wild, and they can actually see how it behaves, and then they can then refine like afterward if they think it is not correctly moving. So part of what the problem that we had is that they don't just want static models. Like I said, they're going to want them have to swimming around and everything. And um, if you think of like each creature has maybe 6 to maybe even 10 parts. Which if you have 6 creatures, that's already 60. But we also want to have them moving around, and that means with fish that fins are like moving, and how are they moving? Are they moving up or down or sideways? Those are things the kids should be able to decide. So that means we actually have to make like animations for these like special parts with animations that already move up and down and left to right, and we ended up making 122 different animal parts. So the kids could really like choose and fine tune how uh, how the creature behaves. Um, the RAM role is asking if the kids animate the mess themselves. No, we give them the option of like we have fins that say go up and down and left to right, and when they select a fin and then save their model, it is asked at that point if how the fin is being moved, if it goes up or down or left or right. So that's why we have so many different pieces, because we all have to create that ahead of time. The kids, there's just not enough time to learn the kids to also how to animate 3D models. So besides all these parts, we we also needed to create all kinds of skin types, because a mosasaur and a coelacanth and a frill shark, they just like have different skin type and different colors. So if you look actually at the build kit I'm sending it, on the right side you can actually see the button pick a skin. And so you can see there were actually 4 different skin types as well for each part. So means that we had to make 150 textures alone for all the models. We have 4 different skin types. One is based on the coelacanth, uh, one on the gray toxirina, one on the mosasaur, and one is just basic line art. The So you can also see that the kids will actually be trying to make one of these 3 creatures, but except line art, of course. Um, and the other extra 3 creatures, the goblin shark and the frill shark and the ichthyosaur, those are extra creatures to basically give the kids more parts and more options to work with and figure out how their creature actually looks like. Um, I just realized I probably should have rest out one of the animals as well. I will, on the end of this talk, I will find like an animal and rest out. So we have been talking about behaviors before, like how they move and stuff, but there's also behaviors about that the museum wanted that they learn or like tell what the creature eats and how it breeds. Like, it does it go to the surface to breed like a whale, or is it just like actual fish where it just swims for how to breed? But you even have like the dolphins; they jump out of the water, um, and other fish don't do that. And those are options they wanted in there. So let me list some of the options. So I will go over them. So the options are like, does it animal surface to breathe air? Does your animal breach the water surface, like jump it, don't does it jump out like a dolphin? Does your animal sleep vertical? Like some of these creatures, see, not sure. I think the coelacanth, but actually sleeps. Does like when it like goes to a rest position while sleeping, and it goes vertical. So these are like things we actually have to program in as well. Like we have to give these kids the options, but we had to program it so that the creature behaves that way. We had to give them a wide range of food that they eat, like and even things that they might not eat, like rocks, just to give the kids all kinds of options. So we had food type were plants, rocks, fish, shellfish, squids, rays, and sharks. Because some of the creatures are really huge and they actually eat the smallest types of sharks. Another three behaviors that we at the program is what animal patrolling the seafloor, stalking its prey, and actually where it lives. So we had an underwater environment, like most the location where we were, the sim was for a large part water, and we had shallow water and deep water. So the kids could even like say, well, where the creature is going to live. Um, so for the food types, like if they eat fish or shellfish or squid, means also we also have to actually have those fish out in the environment. So we actually like created like all kinds of coral fish, sharks, skates, and rays, and all them swim out. We had like over 100 fish swimming around in the sim, and it was working beautiful. They actually we had our fish schooling, and were behaving on each other, and predators were like behaving, and it was beautiful with three people on the sim. It worked perfectly. With we have like 100 fish, and it was it. We looked at the sim stat, and there was like nothing going on that would say, "Wow, the sim is under pressure." So we thought, yeah, you like this amazing. And then we tested it out uh, with like more people in the sim, and suddenly the sim doesn't have a problem, but nobody actually saw the fish like moving where they should be moving. They were pausing, and then they were like suddenly gone, and then they were like in another spot. What we realized is that well, the physics engine was totally running fine. All the action was going on. It was that the sim had trouble updating all the clients. Like as soon as you came like around 10 or 12 clients, the sim couldn't update all the clients quickly enough with 100 animals going around, because that means like every few seconds or every second, over 10,000 updates are being sent, and the sim just couldn't handle that, and or somehow our clients couldn't handle that when there were more people. We haven't not really figured out what the exact cause was, but we learned that lots of different animals and lots of people in sim means that you just don't see it all move. It looks like you're almost in a stop motion movie where the stops are really long. So we had to do was actually go for a lot less creatures. So we had to a couple dozen, I think, maybe 24, 36, something around that size. Um, size. So one of the reasons why we actually had these avatars is because they wanted this the ammonite and the let me move it forward. The ammonite and the skate avatars was because it was important to the museum that the kids basically blend right into the environment. And because we had like fish and plants and rays all swimming around, it would like really stand out if you suddenly had like a big avatar standing there, or or a car or whatever type of normal avatar you can all choose now from. So let's go a moment of my notes. So part of the problem, of course, was like even though we had this build kit where you could teach or like you could build with pretty quickly, um, you still had to learn basic building skills. You still had to be able to move objects around, know how to click it or something, and then right click to edit to move it around. So this was our problem because we were not working with the museum in real life. We were just being a remote developer for them. So we actually had to uh, train their teachers, their the teachers that are going to like around to the kids and and work with them. So what we did was we actually had four sections for from 60 sessions from 60 to 90 minutes over like a couple months before the project, um, where we actually trained the teachers on how to use Second Life and how to use the build kit. And every time we like make like an update or change the build kit, we got them in World and like showed them how it worked and like encouraged them to actually like then do it. So they really got comfortable with how the build kit works and how Second Life worked. And we also like created an orientation area where the uh, yeah, we make like an don't know if you some of you guys know the orientation that you see at Virtuality. We created like an orientation area like that, but then somewhat smaller because the kids really didn't know anything about Second Life itself. They hardly need to know about inventory or teleporting around. They just need to like get in uh, and how to move stuff. And so we made like a shortened orientation. Some of the things we do touch them because kids are going to see all the buttons in the client and going to click them, and you can better explain what they do and then they're not saying it all. Because that way they all just know what's going on. So the teachers will be actually just taking the kids through orientation, and the surprising how smooth it all went because we spent so much time on the teachers that the teacher were actually really very able to uh, tell the kids on how everything works, and we had like minimal interaction with the kids on explaining things, which was really great. So it's really like one key thing is like if you have the time to train the trainers, train the teachers, then like really like invest in that. Another thing that we did is that we actually made a video on how the build kit works, and I will be linking that later on as well, so you can look at it. But then we actually go over all the buttons. You see like all these buttons like fins, tails, heads, and bodies, how that works, and we made like um, simple like align features and mirror features. Like if you like put a body like where is it like we should if you look at a build kit, you see like this blue build zone, and for blue square we call them blue build zone. And if you like move like a body there, and then you think, okay, I want a head, and you select the head button, and the heads appear, then you could actually like click the line button and then click a head, and the head then would then uh, put himself in the general vicinity of where the body is. Uh, so the kids didn't have to move objects from very like from longer distance, so the things would be like already close by, and they could just fine tune where the heads intersects with the bodies. Similar for the fins and the tails, it works the same way. What we included for the fins was thinking, well, if the kids make a fin and put it on the right side of the body, they they uh, they will probably want the fin also be at the exact same opposite position on the other side of the body. So we made a mirror function where if you click on the mirror button and then on the fin that is like on above your blue build zone, the build kit will then figure out where the mirror fin should be on the other side of the body. So the kids didn't have to do things multiple times and trying to figure out exactly where the fin was. The fins are. Um, so yeah, that's the this part like this project I'm going to talk about. If there are any questions about this project, go right ahead and type them out now, and then I will prepare myself for the second project I'm going to talk about. So Ramesh Ramrol is asking, sorry for the silence. Ramesh Ramrol is asking if we plan to port this to OpenScene. Yes, we're thinking about that and doing that. Part of this whole project though is the physics that the fish swims around and moves around, and the OpenSim physics are just not as, like, in my experience, I haven't like tested the cutting edge yet, but the physics is not up to the same standard as Second Life, um, where we can like animate the creatures in a way that they move around in the same way. Let's see if another question. So the Richwood resident is asking, is still available for these teachers and students to continue? The it's really just for them like a 2-week summer course. So after 2 weeks they're done, and like we have to like the project like starts again the next year. We I'm actually not sure if we are actually doing it this year again. We've not been in contact with them yet. But right now we actually still have the project out in our sim, and at the end of the talk I actually can link you the location, and you can actually play with it yourself. And then we'll show you the video as well, so you know how to use it. So in that way, if you want to try it out, but no, right now there is not going any teacher is not using it at all at this moment. Rihanna and Shadar are saying actually that we also have thought on how the system would work as a Unity program. We've been thinking about that and maybe try to create this in Unity, and then we could even more easily use it, like contact other museums or schools and offer this as a product to them to use. Let's see. Well, I don't see any other questions right now, so I'm moving on. As you see, I changed my avatar. I'm now sitting on a quad or an ATV in a racing suit. So this other project regarding play was a project we did for the World Bank Institute, and this was an internal project for them. They, of course, like they are like a really large organization worldwide, and they do a lot of courses and workshops, and sometimes remote, and sometimes they get people together. And they wanted to like experiment with virtual worlds, and as a way to gamify a bit the courses they're doing. So they are actually actually had all the people together at the same location and taking classes or looking, watching presentations and learning about. Uh, yeah, I'm actually not sure what they were learning. World Bank, they were taking courses about, and they wanted to. We made environment for them, so where they could be socialized with each other. But a large part of what there was the gamifying thing. So what we did was we created like game show for them, a virtual game show where teams would like we had 5 teams and each would be controlling avatar. And what you see on the slide right now is that we had like buzzer desks where they would standing in front and they would uh, during the second life portion of the course we're doing, they would come in and they'd actually like get like quiz questions about what they had been learning. So to really put like a game element on what they were doing, to encourage like the study the material sticks better with them. So we had several times of the quiz game had 3 different types of like answering. The big red button was like a buzzer, and then the first one would just answer. Um, the we also you see the 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 on the slide, which was another game type where they could all just run around to the area and decide which one of the 5 answers is correct one. So they could group up um, and figure out what was correct. And we also just had a way to just had them type out the answer. We had given them like an object attached to them or attached to the desk, where they could click and then they would actually type it out so nobody could see it yet, and then enter it, and then they would actually get like a text pop-up above her head where you would see the answer coming. And there's another way to just get a different way to get answers and ask questions. I think like they really enjoyed this. I think really helped them to doing uh, um, yeah, in a really good way in giving them a good like incentive to really like do something with the material that they just had learned. The second game that we created for them is why I'm on an ATV, is because we actually created like a racetrack for them. And we and this here, I think this was like a couple months later. And here what we did was there were the racetrack was like put like divided in checkpoints, and you could only race to the next checkpoint. And once like the first one was at the checkpoint, then got the opportunity to answer a question as the first one, then get it correct or not. And often the first one wouldn't even get it correct, and then like the second person and the third, and then whoever answered the question correctly got the points. But we didn't want to make it too easy, so we actually put up obstacles in the racetrack. We had like muddy areas where you slowed your ATV down. We had hills in there, so you like made little jumps and just couldn't see the racetrack right in front of you. So a little bit of excitement there. And we also created choke points where you see like you see 6 quads by beside, but in a choke point that would be like a little bit harder. So that enforced them to like navigate and get somebody in front. So once they reach a checkpoint, they um, they like questions were being asked, and then we got to the next checkpoint and questions, and in the end they actually got a trophy on who got the highest winnings. The yeah, I think that's kind of it for the racing. The one other thing that we did, or at least World Bank did, where we were less involved in, that they were doing that role play inside Second Life, where they like somebody role played a labor union representative, and somebody role played a city municipal leader, and another one role played the CEO of an water purification company, and then they used it to like take these different roles and learn about negotiations and how they work and figure out what is actually important for each of these different types of people. Um, and so yeah, so they like these kinds of training Second Life as well, but we were less involved in that. Um, I don't know if let's see if there were any questions going to ask. I think Sinisar asked a question earlier. Was this a good introduction to what is possible to education in virtual worlds? And I think that goes back to to um, to the AMH project and the build kits. Um, I don't know if they saw this as an introduction. Like I think they were already using virtual world before that, so they kind of knew what they wanted to do. I don't think they had like a greater concept of using education in a virtual world for the museum. Um, I think that's like the only project where they're using it in. And I think I saw another question as well, where um, who was asking it. So Deep Semaphore is asking, what are the strengths and weakness compared to the sport game? What was your sales pitch? So in this regard, this was a kind of question uh, about the AMH build kit project. The We didn't really have the sales pitch in regards to the project itself. They already were doing it in I think Active Worlds or maybe Blue Mars, but they weren't really satisfied in what the kids could do, because they had to kids couldn't really modify anything inside the world itself. So they made like a model in Sculptress, and that was brought in, and that was that. And um, so they wanted something more flexible, and what for us, we basically had to sell ourselves as the company that could develop this for them inside Second Life. They were working with Barry Joseph, which some of you might know, who was like a big person in Global Kids and getting uh, education and projects inside Second Life for Global Kids. And Global Kids is a youth organization in New York City. And he, at that time, he moved on to the American Museum of Natural History, and so he had a lot of experience with Second Life, and he knew us. We had actually worked with him before, so he contacted out to us and to get this project working. Um, so okay, so I guess I'm moving on to my third project I'm going to talk about. Let's change after once more. Let's see. That's my where. Let's see. I'm getting a wheelchair here because the next project we're going to actually talk about had to do with mentoring disabled students, STEM students, and having a wheelchair around in your sim is important in that case, uh, so people can identify with their own disability. At least some people. Let's see if I can find my. Well, that's not important. So the last project I'm going to talk about is the CATIA project, or CATIA Breakthrough project, that we did with CATIA, the Center for Assistive Technology and Environmental Access, um, which is an some project. They working together with the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech, and they mentor students with disabilities who are studying in STEM subjects, so STEM students. And they wanted that like a 5-year grant um, to do mentoring inside Second Life or a virtual world. And so we created an environment for them. So besides using Skype or email or the phone, their mentors and the students could meet inside Second Life and uh, yeah, work out what problems they have and just do normal mentoring that you would have students do in a university or college. So, but so there was not in general was not much educational or play right away in the environment. So we want to enhance that because we started this with classrooms and private like cabins where you could meet and lecture a big like lecture auditorium where they could do like an mentoring. Sometimes they did like a mentoring explanation about things how certain tools worked, and I let all the kids and the mentors be in the auditorium. But beyond that, the environment was not really much used. Um, Sometimes somebody got in to do some mentoring, but they weren't really using Second Life. So to improve that, we basically try to like gamify the environment. Um, what we created was basically we put all kinds of different things in the environment for them to discover and play with, and then earn badges with it. So the so where now you see like this actually a texture from a sign on them like explaining to getting a hut. We had like a hut where you can actually see which bets you had earned, and we were using Weapon on Prim, so we could really easily design what the hut looked like and even change it rapidly. Um, and they had then constantly like on the screen a little hut which said that okay, you have 80% of this bets, or you have 100%, or you haven't done nothing yet, you have to unlock it. Next slide actually shows you what the hut looks like. Um, Looks like in the default position where you see a couple of badges, and you see actually a left and a right arrow, and you could like scroll to the left and right to actually get more badges to see them all. And there was actually an up arrow that makes you to even minimize it even more, so it becomes even a lot smaller. And I'm looking at the slide. I'm talking about the black rectangle at the top. And we had a maximized version where if you clicked on the question mark at on the HUD, you like get like maximizes, um, and then you can actually explanations on the badges. And we didn't just have badges for like doing things in the like things, but also for events. So right now you see actually so like attending the Graduate Symposium on October 29, 2013. So you just attending something like being sure you get enrolled in time gives you a badge as well, just to incentivize like just being there and doing things. I see a question where Deep Seven was asking, did you need to use an experience key? So experience key is like our new technology, and um, we at the time they weren't out yet, and so we had to work around that with what we could do. Right, like experience keys for who doesn't know, like will give you well, like if you come in a sim with an experience and an experience key, you can say, okay, I trust this experience. It will ask you, do you trust it? And you say yes, and then it won't ask you for any more permission. So if you walk into like a teleporter, it will just teleport you right away without asking permission. If you go in a section where I need a hut or where your camera needs to be in a certain way, it will just do that automatically. So that's really exciting technology for the coming time that when it comes out, or it's partially out already. but in this project we haven't used it yet. So let me go over the different huts that we, different batches that we created. So one of the uh, batches is a scavenger hunt that we had. Let me, and we basically had these crystals out. You see it on the picture, and to have one out here as well. Let me move that forwards. It's now in front of the slide viewer. So um, we had these crystals scattered around the environment to help them like explore the island and find them all. But you had to do more than just find them. Some you just had to go there and click. The one that you see on the image, the you actually had to bring a friend. You had to be with two people there. So it is red because I failed. I was alone, and I had to bring another friend to actually win it. So somebody clicked the crystal in front of me, and this one was actually a Simon Says game. And you, besides finding it, you actually have to then wait a couple 10 seconds, and you see a pattern of colors coming, and the and you just have to follow it like any Simon Says game. So another one, I think I set them all like you have to sort of find them, be near each other. Simon Says, and you have to collaborate, so be with a friend near the crystal. So that was one of them. We also had uh, animals out in the sim, and we had swans, frogs, mice, crabs, and butterflies. And we figured, well, that's another thing that kids could find. But what we, I mean, slide, there we go. See swan there. We figured it should like also interact and like do something more than just finding them. So what we did was, if an animal makes sounds when you click it, like makes a sound, and then it will actually uh, like move, and you will actually see like little speech marks or like like the waves that you see on above my head and talking. We made actually a particle effect where that comes also from it, so it gives like an indication that something is making a sound. But besides making a sound, we figured you should learn something. So when you click at the animal, you actually get like little information about what kind of animal it is, and a link to Wikipedia in this case. Um, yeah, in this case, this wasn't really a crap sound. We were a bit playful with it, and like using castanets being played, as if the crab is like playing castanets, and like it tells you still what it's about. So we had all these animals out, and then kids could find them and like interact with them and learn a little bit about the animal. So somebody saying it's a Spanish crab. We tried to make like I think we have it on there. So we tried to make a Florida stone crab. Maybe it didn't. We're quite successful in getting that look. Um, so that's one of the best. Another bet that we had should like move along because we could like in the last 10 minutes. We also had like a fishing bet, and that fishing was done in three zones. We had like a sweetwater zone, shallow saltwater, and a deep sea zone. And in all these three zones, you could like catch different fish, and all the and you there were like so for each zone was a badge, and then earning all three badges gave you like a master angler badge. So and then we also had trash that you could catch, and then you had like 6 different types of trash, and then if you like caught all 6 different types, you get like a clean water badge. We also had vehicles out in the sim. We had bets for using those, and we called it the traveler bets. So you had like use the bike for 5 minutes, go in a wheelchair for 5 minutes, or ride a boat for 5 minutes to earn the complete bets. another way to just have kids try out different things and for somebody maybe on a wheelchair and make them think about what it's like to be on a wheelchair. We even thought, well, with all these plants and trees, so we even made them beds for plants and trees where we had little signs near a tree and a plant, and then you could go near there and click it, and you learn like just like the animal, you would click it and you would learn something about what kind of plant or tree it is, and you had to go around and find all the different types. So it's another way. Like often we have like lovely scenic areas with lots of uh, plants, and there's another way to actually put information inside the plants, and more than just looking pretty, you can learn something. We also had fireflies going around. We had beds for that. You could catch them in a jar. You don't have a slide for that. Um, so in the end, we last slide here is we gave, like I said earlier, we gave badges for events and trainings. So whenever they did a training or did the end of the year event, they would earn a badge for that as well. What you see right now is in the auditorium. The kids are all watching training on how to use the tools that they have available, and um, like sometimes they actually had only like events for mentors on how to best help your mentee and what kind of resources are available. So besides just seeing your own personal score, we also made a scoreboard. So I linked it. It's at thefusegroup.com breakthrough badges slash scoreboard with PHP. We on there, if you click it, you can actually see a web page and you see all the people's score, like a name, and then just how far they got in a bits, like if they earned it or what percentage they are at. That way, they also get good comparator itself, or the at least our project heads could from Katia could see what everybody was doing and how it worked. It gives a bit also reporting on that way that they could then report back to for their grant and saying like, okay, we got this batch in this time and so many kids worked on this batch during like since then. So yeah, Rihanna is saying you might see a name up there. If I believe I turned that off because I was afraid like 50 new people would be on the scoreboard and I had like removed them later again. So hopefully I turned that off. That your bets that your name appears on the scoreboard. Um, that's then. So let's see. That's kind of I think near the end. Um, so thank you all for listening to me. Are there any more questions you have? Then go ahead.
Thank you, Franz. I think we may be out of time for questions, but thank you very much, all of you, for coming and for showing and for being interactive and participatory with Franz. It was a wonderful presentation, awesome toys. Please stick around, y'all. We have a fabulous program today. Thank you.